Welcome back to America Decides. You watch the show because you are really curious about politics, and I'm thankful for that. So you know who David Hogg is, or you've heard the name. He's got a position, vice chair of the Democratic National Committee, 1 of 3. Could he be dislodged from that? Well, there's a conversation going on about that. One of the candidates who lost to Hogg in that election for vice chair is claiming that the way that election was conducted discriminated against them, meaning those other challengers, and violated DNC rules. This might sound like a small thing, but it might be a big thing, and so much so that the Credentials Committee will meet to consider that complaint May 12th. I want to bring in political reporter Dave Weigel of Semafor, who's been following this story. Is this a small thing that could grow into something bigger, or is it a big thing just to begin with?
It's a small thing that could grow into something bigger. That's the right way to put it. And to back up a little bit,
yeah.
Hogg wins this race, and he clarifies to reporters that this PAC he has been running, Leaders We Deserve. He mentioned it. Every Democrat knew he had this PAC. He mentions to reporters in earlier this month in April, that it might fund some primary challengers.
Oh, by the way, it's got $20 million, and it might go after sitting House Democrats.
Yes. And that clashes with what the party's trying to do, to say no one on the party can support a primary challenger because they don't want another repeat of being accused of bias like they were in 2016. So
with Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders, right?
Yeah. So those are clashing,
and they're trying to calm that waters. But David Hogg's like, no.
Yes.
No calming the waters.
Yeah. Hogg wants that fight to happen, and he told me and other reporters, if they pass a rule saying you can't intervene in primaries, he's not going to quit. They'd have to force him out. And there's not actually a mechanism to do that once you're elected. This challenge, which you described in the lead-up, this is about on election night at the DNC meeting. There were 5 candidates. It was a vote for the top 2 candidates, 3 women, 2 men. And the argument is that the party has gender diversity rules that were violated because the women were discriminated against in that vote. I linked the whole complaint. It's a little complicated, but that's the gist.
Right.
Yeah.
And because the DNC doesn't want to dismiss a complaint like that without any review, it's going to at least review this. That review doesn't necessarily mean Hogg is in trouble.
It'll review it, although the people who want Hogg out, and I think reporters, like me and other reporters are talking to these people, they do see this as a way to potentially get him out of there. What she wants is to vacate the vice chair election. It was Hogg, and it was Malcolm Kenyatta, who's an openly gay black man. It would be vacate that, have a new race. Ostensibly, Hogg would win that race because in the interim, more people have gotten angry at this primary situation.
Right. And so angry that there have been some public clashes.
Yes.
And James Carville, who, whether you love him or hate him, is a significant voice, an experienced significant voice from the Democratic Party, clashed with David Hogg on Tara Palmieri's podcast. Let's take a quick listen to that.
I just will tell you right to your face, I think it's abominable that you have anything to do with the DNC and you're going to go and raise $20 million to beat other Democrats.
There is a real danger, though. You just talked about how those Medicaid cuts were terrible, obviously. Those were enabled by 2 of our members literally passing away, unfortunately.
And after that podcast, kind of a meeting of the minds, sort of.
Yes, Carville said on X that he actually likes David Hogg. He fights. He compared him to Ulysses S. Grant, and that was the description that Abraham Lincoln had. And I texted Hogg after that, and he said that's progress. And he really does. I think what Hogg is doing here, and other Democrats have done this, Howard Dean did this with Rahm Emanuel, is starting a fight over something he thinks is good for the party to be seen doing, which is saying, yes, we have too much dead wood in the party, or maybe a nicer way to put it, although Hogg hasn't been that nice, and saying
Hogg's phraseology is asleep at the wheel.
Yeah, that is maybe nicer. And saying the party cannot just be a incumbent protection association. We have candidates who are not doing the best they could with their seats. It is a very insurgent argument that he's making. It's one, frankly, Republicans have inside the tent with Donald Trump, a different version of that. He's happy as president to go and say, you're an incumbent, get out of here. I'm going to campaign for your opponent. Democrats, because of this 2016 hangover, they're very worried about looking that way, and they can't agree with the party fully stands for.
But the 2016 participants are no longer here. This is a different party in a different situation that it finds itself in. I think that's what David Hogg would say, having been in the chair that you were in not 5 or 6 days ago, and talking about why he's motivated. Yeah,
so well, there are different problems, and solving one gets you further away from solving another. The party wants to look unbiased. It does not really want to have so many members who are so old they're bad at the job or they die in office. But what is the polite way to do that? Satisfies everybody. There isn't. They have to have a fight about it. The question is this the kind of fight that gets coverage that helps them, or is it the fight that's just completely negative? I saw some of the reaction to Hogg, and the way this is about gender rules actually seemed to help him. Some conservatives were starting to root for him because they find those rules ridiculous.
Well, one thing we know for sure, there's a lot more conversation about one of the three vice chairs of the Democratic National Committee than there is about the chairman. We'll try to fix that, get the chairman on this show very soon. We're going to work on that.